Now we're looking at about 6 weeks after the last of the heat wave, and this month, August, it's been unusually cool. Great news about the red Japanese maple. This is the one I defoliated, and it came back in full. So now I need to trim it, but as you can see, that it has recovered fully in terms of the leaves. I think because of the warm weather, we've been having some insect problem, and I took care of that, but it also did some damage on the foliage. This is our crepe myrtle that looked almost completely dead. It took a little bit longer than the maple, but about 4 weeks after. And so for the last 2 weeks, it's been really growing. I need to go in there and thin them out and get rid of all the dead leaves. But in general, it's doing very well. I had no doubts that this was going to succeed. Say that much about the Boulevard Cypress. This is the one that I hope had like 60% of success rate. Well, it just kept getting worse and worse, and now is definitely gone. The one in the front is the healthy one, and you could see that the droopiness kept going, and it's definitely at a point of no return. So my conclusion is that evergreens don't give you the second chance versus the deciduous plant like the maple, crepe myrtle. Even if they defoliate or get really bad looking, they recover. But on the evergreens, once they hit a certain point and show stress, it's gone. I think it was a euonymus. But anyway, after the heat wave, it didn't look bad. It actually took another 3 weeks after the heat wave before it started showing stress, and then slowly it ended up dead. It didn't die completely. It started in one section and just kept going, and 6 weeks later it is completely gone. This is a pomegranate, and I still got hopes for this one because it is a deciduous, although it's really not looking too good. But I still want to keep this one. Let's hope like heck that it'll come back. This one, it's sad to say that it's progressively getting worse. And you can see that I already took off that one in the center, and then slightly to the right on top is dying, and then on the left the ends are dead, and towards the middle on the left side doesn't look so good. The lower right branch looks healthy, but I think this is, well, for one thing, it's coming out of this container, and it's going to go back into the black training pot. I think what I'm going to have to do is treat this for borers. I think that might be one of the underlying causes, although it was the heat and all that stress that went with it. But if I'm lucky, I'll be able to save that one and maybe second branch, but it needs a major restyling. And the reason for going back into the training pot is I got about 5 to 10 years of restyling and regaining vigor to work on this. And I don't want to be taking up this nice bench space where it's in a prominent spot. So this will go back into training. And this is part of the process. Even the ones that are technically finished, well, although this one wasn't, it was a very nice material that had potential for greatness. It just has to go back to say goodbye to these dear friends. The one on the left is the red pine, and I think part of it is my fault. I pushed the technique. I should have put that in a bigger mica pot, but I didn't want to do that, so I squeezed it into a small pot when I think it would have been more prudent to put in a larger one. And to the right, this is the one that was somewhat stressed. It had turned yellow last year, and it was beginning to make a recovery, but being hit by our heat wave this summer, I think that was too much for something that was not in perfect health. So anyway, I'm going to say goodbye to these two and use the pot again and use the bench space. You notice that there's a lot of blue pines for the future. So if I hang in there for another 30 years, those two with these little guys here. Keep in mind that sometimes things happen. So I got plenty of things to come along, but one thing I have to do is learn to live a long time. So this concludes what happens and what you can do when extreme weather hits. Hopefully it doesn't happen again, but this is one of those things that happens out here from time to time.